Mr. Agam Prakash Tiwari. So, sir, after graduating in electrical engineering in 1994, he joined NTPC. He worked for about 20 years at NTPC Vindhyachal, where he got the experience of operating 210 megawatt and 500 megawatt coal-based units. He was also associated in the commissioning of two 500-watt units. Thereafter, he has transferred on deputation to Ministry of Power, where he was involved in the implementation of central government-sponsored schemes of power reforms. For the last 4 years, he has been working as the electrical and civil maintenance head at NTPC Bard. So I request Sir to start his session. Sir, please.
Thank you, Rajesh ji. Very good evening to all the dignitaries present today on this digital platform. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Audible, sir.
Thank you. So now I'll share my presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
It is visible, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir. Visible.
So once again, a very good evening to all the dignitaries. I welcome you all to my presentation on the topic Harnessing Clean Power, Role in Shaping India's Energy Future. The outline of the presentation is as such. First of all, I would like to give you an overview of the global warming, the climate change that is happening. And then I'll touch upon the present scenario of the Indian power sector. I'll try to explain what are the benefits of clean energy and how it can go on to shape India's future. And lastly, I'll touch upon the initiatives that my company NTPC is taking to align with this objective, this national objective that lies before us for the nation. So, as we all know, the climate has been changing and it is continuously changing and it will continue to change. Going back to the pre-industrial revolution period, that is to the year 1850, when the industrial activity just began. And since then, the global mean temperature of the earth has been increasing. And today, the temperature of the earth is around 15 degrees Celsius. And since the pre-industrial period, it has increased by 1 degree Celsius. What is the impact of this? The global sea level has increased, the global precipitation, the distribution of precipitation has increased by some 1%. If we let this happen and let it go unchecked, then what will happen? By the year 2100, the projected temperature would have risen by more than 2 degrees centigrade. The sea level would have risen to some very devastating levels. Precipitation, the distribution of precipitation would be of the horrible order. So what can we do about it? See, in this snapshot, we can see how the polar ice of the Arctic region is shrinking. And as we can see here on this slide, since 1979, the polar ice has shrunk by some 20%. It has just melted away. Today, as far as emissions are concerned, India stands third largest emitter of greenhouse gases, standing after China and USA. And which are the sectors which are contributing to this greenhouse gas emissions? Some 70% of India's greenhouse emission stems from basically 6 key sectors. Firstly, it is electricity generation from coal-based stations, transportation sector which uses oil, aviation sector which uses oil, steel sector which uses coal, similarly cement and agriculture. All these are largely contributing to the greenhouse gas emissions in India. Here we can see the CO2 emissions of the world has increased from 2016 to 2022 by about 8%. If we compare this with India, our CO2 emissions have increased by more than 20%. Why is this discrepancy? The discrepancy lies in the fact that India today is still largely dependent on fossil fuel-based electricity generation to meet the demands of its growing economy, to sustain the growth of its GDP. So still, we cannot just simply part away with the coal-based stations, the electricity that we are getting from these stations. Now, let me give you some glimpse of the Paris Agreement. In the year 2015, some 196 countries got together in the Convention on Climate Change at Paris, and which is popularly known as COP21. Here, they try to come together to set goals for controlling this rapid rise of global temperatures. And the goal was set that by the year 21, measures would be taken and nationally determined contributions would be taken from all the international countries, all the world countries, so as to control this global increase in temperature up to 1.5 degrees centigrade by the year before the close of this century. That is by 2100, we'll limit this global increase in temperature up to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And in the COP26, which happened in the year 2021, our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, made some 5 commitments to the world. And these are popularly known as Panchamrit goals. Let us see what are these 5 goals that our Prime Minister committed to the world. Firstly, we will reach 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel energy capacity by the year 2030. Presently, we stand at 200 gigawatt. We'll reach 500 gigawatt by the year 2030. The second goal was that 50% of its energy requirement from renewable energy source by 2030. That is, India will try to achieve 50% of its energy requirement from renewable energy by the year 2030. We will try to bring about a reduction of total projected carbon emissions by 1 million tons from now on up to 2030. And then there will be reduction of carbon intensity of the economy by 45% by the year 2030 over the 2005 levels. And lastly, but most importantly, we'll achieve the target of net zero emissions by 2070. These were the 5 commitments that our Prime Minister made to the world. And now, what are the challenges that the Indian power sector is facing today? The Indian power sector today is at a crossroad vis-a-vis the climate change, the transition, energy security. Now, what is energy security? Energy security is basically the gap between demand and supply. What is the demand to sustain our developmental needs? The challenge is to bridge this gap so that we are able to sustain our economy at a rate of 7 to 8%. Then the question comes of energy sustainability. Like all the electricity generation that is coming from coal-based stations, it is not sustainable because the fuel is depleting. So we should look for energy options that are sustainable over a long period of time. That is why we have to go for other alternatives. We have to search for other alternatives which are sustainable. Then comes energy affordability. Now, if we go for other options, then how much they are affordable, how much they are viable, economically viable. Like, let me give you a glimpse of the capital cost involved in the erection of various kinds of power plants. Like for coal-based station, to erect each megawatt of coal-based station, some 10 crores of rupees are required. If we talk about solar, then each megawatt of solar requires some 4 crore rupees. Wind requires some 7 crore rupees per megawatt. So we have to bring about a balance between the requirement and its affordability. And all these three variables, that is energy security, energy sustainability, and energy affordability, these are all interlinked and cannot be separated. And solving this energy trilemma, as we can call it, this will be a key to a sustainable future. Now let us have a glimpse at the Indian power sector. This is how our Indian power sector looks like at present. The installed capacity of India is around 442 gigawatt. Out of this, 49% capacity lies with coal, gas is 6%, solar is 19%, hydro is 11%, nuclear is 2%, wind is 10%. Now, how much can we use this capacity? See, a coal-based station can be loaded up to say 85 to 90%. Whereas if we talk about solar, the solar can be loaded up to only 20%. Wind, it depends on the availability of wind. Nuclears can be loaded up to more than 85%. And see, with 49% of coal capacity, the contribution in generation of coal is 72%. Whereas with 19% installed capacity of solar, the contribution to generation is just 6.6%. So we have to balance the requirements. How much we can invest into which kind of energy production mode. We have to balance out this requirement. Now let me present you the present load pattern, the present load pattern of India. See, the blue line represents the daily demand, whereas the orange line is representing the generation of a typical coal-based station. As we can see, during the day period, the demand on a coal-based station is low, whereas during the early morning peak hours and the evening peak hours, the coal-based stations are fully loaded. So this is basically a concept of flexibilization, flexible operation. That is, during the day, the contribution of electricity is coming from the renewables, other sources of energy. Whereas, because they are available during the daytime, it's solar. But during the peak hours, these coal-based stations are getting offloaded. Earlier, the concept, in the old concept, it was thought that the coal-based stations are basically base load stations. That is, they have to be kept fully loaded all the time. But now that concept is withering away, changing. And this is what is called as flexible operation, as we'll see in the coming slides, why it is so important. And it is also taking a toll on the profitability of the coal-based stations, their sustainability, their viability. This we'll see. Now coming to what is clean energy, today's topic. Clean energy is basically green energy. It refers to the electrical power generated by renewable energy sources like geothermal, rain, solar, tidal, waste, and wind. Clean energy employs processes that do not pollute the environment and that do not contribute to climate change. Like coal is responsible for 19% of carbon dioxide production and 10% of energy used in the US in the year 2020. What is the situation for India? In India, we are more than 70% dependent on the coal-based electricity generation for our needs. So this is where the gap lies between developed and the undeveloped countries. Reducing these emissions will definitely help in combating the climate change and preserve the earth for future generations. Now coming to solar energy. Solar energy can be employed to generate electricity. How it is done? There are solar panels forming photovoltaic cells which absorb solar energy to produce electricity. But India's potential for solar energy has been estimated to be 5 million gigawatts. In India, we have around 300 sunny days in a year, and the daily generation can be up to 4 to 7 kilowatt hours per meter square. Bhadla solar plant is the largest solar plant in the world, having capacity of 2.25 gigawatt. It is located in Gujarat. India is also member of International Solar Alliance, which is a group of countries who are working constantly to reduce the cost of solar power plants. Solar power is characterized by its reduced cost, low carbon footprint. It is accessible and is more abundantly available. However, if it can be expensive with battery backup, although the cost of the battery backup solution is coming down, rapidly coming down, and in future it will be fully competitive with the fossil fuel generation. Solar energy is also weather dependent and has been connected to environment hazards like the lead and cadmium from the solar panels can pollute the underground water and landfills. This is one disadvantage of solar. Now coming to wind. Wind energy uses wind turbines to generate electricity. And let me tell you, India is the fourth largest producer of wind power in the world. The wind potential of India has been estimated to be around 200 gigawatts. Optimum wind speed required to run a wind electric turbine is 4 to 12 meters per second. Wind turbines are most efficient form of renewable energy, while wind has been known for its cleanliness and proven reduction of fossil fuel dependence. Common complaints are its loud, disruptive sounds. Costs are high, construction costs are high with wind, and the fact that it poses a danger to wildlife habitats located near the construction sites. This is one shortcoming of the wind energy. Now coming to geothermal. Geothermal energy is extracted from the hot water and steam that lies below the earth crust. Geological Survey of India has identified some 340 geothermal hot springs in India. The geothermal potential of India is around 10 gigawatts, and the sites that have the potential for geothermal electricity generation are Manikaran, Jalgaon, Tapovan, Tatapani. Geothermal plants are highly reliable and have power outputs that are easy to predict with great accuracy. These plants also take up less space than other energy plants. Although geothermal requires minimal maintenance, the cost of construction tends to be high, and sustainability is not guaranteed without proper management. In extreme cases, geothermal plants have also been known to cause earthquakes. Now coming to hydro. India is a hydro potential of 148 gigawatts. And some very large hydro plants we have in India are Tehri, Koyna, Nafta, Jhakri, Sardar Sarovar. Hydropower is the cheapest option as clean energy because the running costs are very low, but the construction costs are high. Moreover, gestation periods are also very high. But hydropower is least reliable source of electricity since it is highly subject to weather conditions. Hydropower is also responsible for environmental damage. Its dams are known to disrupt natural habitats and flood large areas with stagnant water. India has some 24 reactors in 8 nuclear power plants with a total capacity of around 8,180 megawatts. Nuclear energy is renewable energy released during fusion of plutonium and uranium, which results in the release of. But the disadvantage with nuclear energy is that with respect to the security, the safety, this is one shortcoming of nuclear energy, and the other is the disposal of waste, nuclear waste. And there is fear psychosis associated with nuclear energy, especially after incidents like Chernobyl disaster of 1986. Natural gas basically comprises methanes and other alkanes which are burned to produce electricity. It is, in comparison to coal, it is cleaner mode of electricity generation. What are the benefits of clean energy? As we have seen, clean energy has been proven to emit less greenhouse gases. It will slow down climate change, and more importantly, it's been despite various issues like cost and effects on wildlife. Clean electricity is leading to the following: it's creating new jobs, it's stabilizing the energy prices, it is giving more options for infinite energy, less dependence on the main power grid, lower electricity costs, energy independence, and reliable and resilient energy options. Now, as I told you, the present capacity of India vis-a-vis the renewable energy is around 200 gigawatt, and we aim to be 500 gigawatt by 2030. Out of this 200 gigawatt that is presently available with us, solar leads the way with 92.12 gigawatt. Then comes wind with 47.72 gigawatt. Hydro comes next with 46.93 gigawatt, and we have some small hydropower plants of around 5.07 gigawatts, where the capacity is less than 10 watts. As we have seen, India is committed to the Panchamrit goals. We are working on that to achieve the objectives set by our Prime Minister. Apart from this, India is also promoting a sustainable way of life through life, that is lifestyle for environment movement, where people are being encouraged to improve their lifestyle, that is reduce water consumption by the three R principle, that is reduce, recycle, and reuse. Then people are being encouraged to use public transports so that there is some saving on fuel. Likewise, there are so many initiatives under this lifestyle movement. Which are the states that are leading the way in terms of renewable energy in India? Rajasthan is at the top of the list with an impressive 29.98 gigawatt of installed renewable capacity, benefiting from its vast land and abundant sunlight. Following closely is Gujarat, which boasts a capacity of around 29.52 gigawatt, driven by its strong focus on solar and wind energy projects. Tamil Nadu ranks third with 23.7 gigawatt, leveraging its favorable wind patterns to generate sustainable energy. Karnataka rounds out at the top four with a capacity of 22.37 gigawatt, supported by a mix of solar and wind initiatives. Now, coming to my company NTPC, how my company NTPC is trying to align itself to the national goals which India has set for future. NTPC has, like India, NTPC has set a goal to achieve 60 gigawatt of cumulative capacity of renewables by 2032. Develop a net zero greenhouse gas emission roadmap for NTPC has been developed. Actually, we have developed a plan for ourselves for the year 2032. It is called Brighter Plan, and this plan is totally aligned with the national goals. That is national requirement. Like, see, we have revisited our vision and mission statement to align with this goal. Like our vision says, to be world's leading power company, accelerating India's growth, and energy transition is the stress word here. Energy transition. We want to lead the way to achieve this energy transition. And a mission also says to provide reliable power and energy transition solutions in an economical, efficient, and environmental friendly manner driven by innovation and agility. So we have revisited our mission in the vision statement to adjust ourselves with this requirement. So the present capacity of NTPC is around 76 gigawatt. So and we have some 60 gigawatt. We have developed a roadmap for 60 gigawatt of renewable energy by the year 2032. In 1975, NTPC started as a coal-based company, but today it has diversified into the various elements of its value chain. And today we are trying to provide integrated energy solutions. Like today, we are into producing green hydrogen. We are gone into nuclear. We are into providing charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. We are doing pilot projects on carbon capture and utilization and byproducts, as I'll shortly show you in the coming slides. Then we have projects going on for waste to charcoal and waste to energy. These are also projects running at a few places. We are into renewable energy. Like recently, we have come up with a public offer for our and one of our subsidiaries, NTPC Green Energy Limited. The public offer was subscribed greatly recently, and in our SWOT analysis, in opportunities, see, RE business is a great opportunity for us, and we have gone ahead with this. Green chemical business is there, nuclear power business is there. We have gone with this to align ourselves with the national goal. Now, what can we do for our future? For future, we have a two-pronged strategy. Firstly, to invest into green energy initiatives. Second is to reduce the carbon intensity of our running thermal power plants. How can we achieve this? This can be achieved. by reducing the greenhouse emissions with efficiency improvements. Because for every 1% rise in efficiency, there is 2.5% reduction in the carbon dioxide. So what NTPC has done, it has discarded away with its old and smaller units like Badarpur has been stopped. Badarpur had smaller units of 110 megawatt. It has been totally stopped, and the whole area has been developed into a biodiversity park. At Tanda, there were smaller units of 110 megawatt. They have been stopped, discarded away. Similarly, at Talsher in Odisha, smaller units have been stopped, and we are coming up with bigger units. The unit size is being increased. Like our newer units are of 800. The latest units are of 800 megawatt units with higher efficiency, because there the boiler pressure and temperatures are much higher. So by increasing the unit size, we are trying to improve the efficiency so that we end up with reducing our greenhouse gas emission. So this is one way of doing this. Then we have set emission targets like for SOx, NOx and particulate matter. For SOx, to reduce SOx, see there is a continuous improvement in the SOx emissions target. And by 2032, we have a target of reducing our SOx emission up to 0.7. Like presently, it stands at 4.41, but we have a target of going down to 0.7. For now, how we will do this? In all our coal-based stations, flue gas desulfurization units are being installed. At many places, they have been commissioned. At other places, the work is still going on. So by this initiative, we are aiming to reduce the SOx emission. Then coming to NOx, for NOx we have done many modifications in our boiler burners, and by 2032 we aim to reduce this to up to 1 grams per kilowatt hour. And similarly for particulate matter PM, we have a target of going down to 0.18 by 2032, and continuously we are working on this. Now coming to a very special and very important initiative of NTPC, that is carbon capture and utilization. See, the coal is burnt in the boiler, the steam generated is given to the turbine, and the turbine, the steam power of the turbine rotates the generator, and which in turn produces electricity. But from the boiler, after the combustion products are burned, these combustion products as flue gas are exhausted from the stack, that is chimney. So, and which largely comprises carbon dioxide. So what we can do is to capture this carbon dioxide before it is exhausted into the chimney. So this carbon dioxide can be absorbed using some absorber, and then it can be stripped, extracted, and put to storage. And after storage, it can be put to various uses. Like see, NTPC has developed a pilot project at one of its power stations, that is Vindhyachal. And this pilot project has been launched in unit number 13 of Vindhyachal. Here what has been done is, from the flue gas, some 20 tons per day of carbon dioxide is captured, and this carbon dioxide is used to for bottling dry ice rather, and some 15 tons per day of carbon dioxide is being used for methanol production. How this is done? The carbon dioxide extracted in this way is mixed with green hydrogen. There's a green hydrogen plant, there's a solar plant located in Vindhyachal which produces green hydrogen. Some 2 tons per day of green hydrogen, and this green hydrogen is mixed with carbon dioxide to produce methanol. Now methanol has lot of usage. So this is one, and there is another pilot project going on at one of our plant called Lara, NTPC Lara in Chhattisgarh. Here, ethanol production is being done. So if you look at the schematic, see hydrogen production is taking place in an electrolyzer. This electrolyzer is using electricity from a solar electricity plant. The electricity of the solar electricity plant is being used to electrolyze water to produce hydrogen, and the captured CO2 from the chimney exhaust. The captured CO2 is synthesized with this hydrogen to produce ethanol. Ethanol can be mixed with diesel. It can be used as fuel for transportation. It has disadvantage. Now, this is how the transformation of a power plant will happen in future. See, the methanol can be produced, ethanol can be produced, like the hydrogen storage can be done. Hydrogen storage can be from this storage dispensing station of hydrogen. It can be used to run fuel cell based electric vehicles. Like NTPC has been running fuel cell based electric vehicles in Ladakh, where our H2 generation plants based on solar are producing hydrogen, which is being used to run fuel cell based electric vehicles. In Ladakh, it is happening, and the second project is running at Badarpur, Delhi, where fuel cell based electric vehicles, we are operating fuel cell based electric vehicles through this initiative. Like I told you, methanol blending can be done in petrol and LPG, and in this is how a future power sector will look like. Like there's a coal-based station here operating in conjunction with renewable energy power stations. There's an inverter shown here. There's battery storage here shown here. Like let me share you. Today I was talking to one of the guys in BSES Delhi, and he was telling me that they are running some 6 PS battery energy storage systems at the distribution end. Like this is an example for a BSES at the generating end, and there in Delhi, there because during light load conditions, the battery gets stored, and during peak hours, this battery discharges electricity. So this concept is applicable both at the generating end as well as the distribution end. Then NTPC has also gone forward with the green chemical initiative. We have developed like from the captured carbon dioxide, if this carbon dioxide is removed from the flue gas, then what remains is nitrogen. This nitrogen can be blended with hydrogen produced from an electrolyzer to produce ammonia. We are coming with a 3,000 tons per day capacity ammonia plant at Kandla, Gujarat. Another 1,500 tons per day plant at Kolkata. Some 1,500 tons per day of green ammonia and methanol plant at Pudi, Madaka Energy Park, Andhra Pradesh, and some again 1,500 tons per day plant at Tuticorin, Tamil Nadu. And NTPC is trying to scale up its operations by going for large electrolyzers. Like we are going for 400 megawatt electrolyzer and 600 megawatt alkaline electrolyzers. This is proton exchange membrane electrolyzer. We are trying to scale up this initiative so that we can capture carbon dioxide on a larger scale. So green hydrogen production can be done either near the load centers, as I told you, like what BSES, Yamunanagar and Rajdhani are doing in Delhi. Near renewable energy sources, it can be done. Near gas plants in coastal areas, it can be done. And today, the research is on for to design turbines driven purely by hydrogen in the pipeline. G is already is ready with a gas turbine for hydrogen. They've come up with a solution which is under pilot project execution stage. Now, in one of our gas plants that is located at Kavas, what we are doing is we are using this hydrogen produced from green initiative, green hydrogen, and we are blending it with the pipeline gas that is being supplied to some 200 households in our township here. So in our township, we are mixing this hydrogen produced from an electrolyzer with the piped gas. And this is a pilot project which has been largely successful, and it will be scaled up further to other townships of NTPC. Like the gentleman who was speaking before me was talking about microgrid. NTPC has come out with a 200 kilowatt green hydrogen based microgrid at Chusul, Ladakh. Here, what is done is, as we can see, the electricity generated from a solar power plant is used to produce hydrogen from an electrolyzer, the synthesis, this electrolysis of water. And this hydrogen is stored and is used to run is supplied to a fuel cell to produce electricity. On the same time, this solar electricity produced from the solar power plant is used in the battery storage systems also. So battery storage systems store power when there is no demand, and they supply power when there is peak demand. So this is one initiative that is under also a pilot study being carried out by NTPC. Then we have also gone for 14,000 megawatt pump storage projects for round-the-clock operation. What are these? We are trying to implement it at sites in the states of Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, this Meghalaya, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. What will be done is, during the off-peak periods when there is less demand, then the electricity produced will be used to pump water back to the upper reservoir, as we can see. And during peak demand, this water will be used to produce electricity. So with this, the pump storage initiative will be implemented. So what is the way forward? Today, India stands high with an impressive achievement of around 200 gigawatt of installed capacity. We are committed to a sustainable future driven by a diverse array of renewable sources, including solar, wind, hydro, and bioenergy. And Government of India has given a strategic focus on some very special initiatives like Clean Hydrogen Mission, PM Kusum Yojana, PM Surya Ghar, so that to enhance renewable energy generation and reduce our reliance on fossil fuels. With ambitious targets set for future, including a goal of 500 gigawatt from non-fossil fuel sources by 2030, India is well positioned to emerge as a global leader in renewable energy, contributing to environmental sustainability and energy security. These ongoing efforts reflect a holistic approach to building a greener economy, ensuring that India not only meets its energy needs, but also addresses the pressing challenges of climate change and resource conservation. It is not the strongest species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. Thank you so much. With this, I end my presentation here. Any queries, please?
Dear participants, you can ask if you have any question.
Hello, Agam Tiwari ji. I'm Ramesh Bansal. I just presented before you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for your excellent presentation. In fact, long back when I was at BITS Pilani, then we had this BS Power Engineering program, and I visited almost all the power plants of NTPC. And I am very happy to see that so many developments being done by NTPC in the renewable energy sector. So thank you very much for your excellent presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, is there any question, participants? Mic is open. Okay, seems there is no question. Can I ask, sir, a question?
Sure.
Somewhere I read that NTPC has set 2040 as target for net zero.
2070 it's.
It is for India. For NTPC,
No,
no.
2040 is not a target, no.
Okay. So so when the NTPC
You can ask, you know.
okay, sir. Is NTPC is still installing thermal power plants?
Yes, sir. Just I want to share something with you on this count. Like, see, in May 2024, the peak demand of India was around 250 gigawatt. The peak demand that we witnessed in May 2024, it was 250 gigawatt. And by the year 2030, it is expected that India's peak demand will grow up to 366 gigawatt. So there will be another increase of 116 gigawatt up to 2030. And what government of India has planned is to meet this additional increase of 116 megawatt, some 80 gigawatt will come from coal-based generation. And the rest, 36 gigawatt will be met through renewable energy. So coal-based generation is still in the picture. But what is important to emphasize is that the unit size of coal-based stations is increasing. Earlier, we in the old before 2000, we used to have either 210 megawatt units or 500 megawatt units. But then this trend changed. Since some 660 megawatt units came on the horizon, and now the trend is going for 800 megawatts, and this unit size will increase, leading to as we saw in that slide, with increasing unit size, the cycle efficiency is increasing. So the coal-based stations will still have some role to play in future before fading out.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more thing. Couple of days before, I have made a call to you, and perhaps there was some station was out, so some maintenance work you were there. So can you draw some light on why these stations go out of service, and what are the causes of this, and how you do this maintenance work or repair work there?
You're talking about the station blackout that happened on 4th of January here.
Yes.
On that unfruitful day, what happened was, actually there are 8 400 kV lines emanating from our Bar substation, Bar switchyard. And on that day, we had out of 5 units, we had 3 units under running condition. We have 5 660 megawatt units here, coal based. On that day, 3 660 megawatt units were running. And what happened? Actually, BARD comes under Eastern Region Load Dispatch Center. So Eastern Region Load Dispatch Center has taken, out of 8 lines, they have taken 3 lines under shutdown for carrying out some specific work, and these lines have been out for about a month. The shutdown was given on 7th of December for line modification work. One at Kelgaon and 2 lines at there's a place called Bakhtiarpur here. So 3 lines out of 8 lines, 3 lines were out. And on that day, actually normally this happens when there is heavy fog. This normally happens during heavy fog condition, when actually the insulator, these lines are having sting insulators, some 21 sting insulators are there, and during the fog condition there is a tendency of arcing through these insulators, and due to this our Patna 4 line tripped on distance protection because of insulator decapping. The insulator got damaged and the line tripped on earth fault. But to carry out the work of this Patna 4 line, the Motiari 2 line, another line had to be taken under shutdown because they were both on the same tower, 400 kV. So we were left with only 3 lines running, and actually the load controller could not judge the residual load flow on these remaining 3 lines, and one of these lines got overloaded and tripped on overcurrent protection. Then in the cascading effect, the load came on the other 2 lines which were left, Motiari 1 and Kelgaon 1 line, and at the same time, unfortunately, the conductor of Motiari 1 line, biphase conductor of Motiari 1 line, snapped at a distance of 129 kilometers from our power station, and we were just left with Kelgaon 1 line, which could not sustain the increased overload on it, and it also tripped. So all the 3 units of bar tripped on turbine overspeed protection. This was a thing that happened on that day of 4th January. This is how our station.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more question. During light load conditions,
Yes.
how much, in what capacity and how much capacity a thermal power station can be run?